Aquarius, and welcome to String Theory, your 2024-25 reading from Planet Waves. I'm Eric Francis, your astrologer forever or for the next hour. And I'm here back in the Planet Waves office at last. I took a little break from here to get a change of scenery, to record the other video, and now recording another method of video. And this is the new era of video readings for Astrology Studio. I'm sorry, I only have my tinted reading glasses with me at the moment, so I will occasionally peer through them, so that I'm not wearing sunglasses. I'm wearing rose-colored reading glasses. Historically, Astrology Studio has been a straight read of the charts for the coming year. And I did that for 12 years and thought, all right, 12 years, that's a long time. Time for a change. And so the change I thought to do was, particularly starting with Capricorn last month, was to prepare Capricorns for Pluto and Aquarius by reviewing all that had happened in the past so many years. I'm not sure how far back I went. In this reading, I'm going to go back to 1962, just in case you were, born in 1942 and were running around, having fun in the early 60s, and take this through the present moment. The idea is that from studying transits, past events, you have a concept of the shape of time, and you also have a concept of how your astrological chart works when the energy is turned up. And in an astrology chart, the energy is turned up by transits. That's how we measure the movement of energy through an astrology chart. And there are a number of ways to read transits. And because I'm not working with your birth chart, I'm working with your solar chart. And I did a fairly long rap on Substack the other night on how to work with your solar chart and what the connection is to your natal chart. And I will make sure that audio gets put here, but it's on my Substack at planetwaves.eu. That is the shortcut to the Planet Waves Substack, planetwaves.net, not Chiron return. And this thing with Capricorn, I thought worked pretty well. People had interesting responses, and the way that I got into this is because I did my first reading back in 1995, an astrology reading. I'd done tarot card readings, many of them, and rune readings and different things. But I did my first astrology reading, and very, very first client. Every astrologer has the story of their first client. And I would say something and the client said, no, that's not true. And I would say another thing and the client would say, no, that's not true. And then I said another thing, and the whole reading was, no, that's not true. And maybe she was just giving me a hard time. But I thought, I've got to have a better way to do this. It's got to be a better approach here. So I thought, all right, I'm going to use what I learned from learning my own chart, which was to look at past transits. I mean, and the way that happened was early on, I was reading Barbara Hand Clow's book, Chiron Rainbow Bridge Between the Inner and the Outer Planets. And she said, the following are important transits. And I was working with an astrologer named Dave Rell, a bookstore guy with a computer program, and he sent me my transits, and one of them was June 1st, 1986. And that was the day that I graduated university, and it was a big, big time in my life, more so, I think, than most, ordinary graduation, wear a cap and gown and all that. So, therefore, I started to get into studying people's transits, and I've worked with somewhere between 1,000 and 2,000 clients, asking them the story of their transits. And I still do it to the current day in the first session. Even if it's only one session, I'll check 4 or 5 of their past transits just to get a sense of how their chart works when you turn the juice up by adding transiting planets. So this reading comes with a couple of things. One is it comes with a worksheet that looks like this. Well, it's a PDF. And what I'm suggesting you do is print it and get a notebook or some paper that looks like this, and then use a pencil that looks like this, or even maybe a pen. Those will look like this. The pen looks like that. And take notes, make it your own, take charge, take possession. Go to astro.com, cast your chart. I don't care how little astrology you know. If you've gotten this far, you're listening to me right now, you have some organic inherent interest in astrology, possibly instigated by me and by others, and people telling you interesting things, and letting the tools be present in the environment. That's why all of my readings come with usually two forms of the chart. I'm here to bring people in to astrology so you get the most out of it. And we live in a time when there are not very many growth tools. Nobody's really going to therapy. We now all know that SSRIs are bullshit. They don't cure anything. They don't heal anything. Serotonin uptake has nothing to do with depression. And astrology is available. It has been available in its current form for about 2,400 years, though in our time, astrology has a psychological bent to it. And of course, we know more. We have many more planets to work with. And one of them is Chiron. So your reading comes with this tool, and I've included a blank wheel. So you're going to go to astro.com and cast your chart, or you're going to click on my thing for $33. I'll send you a chart set. It's very nice. Many formats of your chart and different tools and blank wheels and satires from the old days and fun things, and planet waves, postcards, and all this stuff, but mostly your natal and your progressed in several different formats and blank wheels, and you will get started. All you need is a pencil and your brain. Okay, so the other thing included with this reading is I've included Planets in Motion 2022. I did not have a chance to redo this book for 2023. It's too late for 2024. Maybe I'll redo it for 2025. It was very popular on Planet Waves, and I've included it, and there's all kinds of introductory material that tells you about transits. Transits are where it's at in astrology. The natal chart is totally overemphasized, and the natal chart is made relevant by transit events. We'll get into those in a second. And so Planets in Motion is a book of 2022 transits. Even though things have shifted in 2 years and the signs are different, the inherent meaning of the transits remains the same, but the context shifts a little. For example, Planets in Motion 2022 talks about Saturn return in Aquarius, because that was going on now. Currently, Saturn is in Pisces, so we would have to reinterpret that for Saturn return in Pisces. But it's not that different. It's going to be like 75% overlap. And then what changes by changing the sign of the event is meaningful, but you can fill in a lot of that. And I understand how complicated astrology is. I mean, look at this thing. Right. I mean, I've got like 30 planets in this chart. I use many others, but you don't need to do too much with astrology to get to the level of riding the bicycle of astrology. It doesn't mean you're going to ride to California. It doesn't mean you're going to be able to cross the Rocky Mountains yet. But if you can ride to school, if you can ride down the block, I mean, that's it, right? Remember your first bike ride? You rode down the block. Wow. You went somewhere under your own power quickly. Look, it's not long after that you're going to ride your bike to work, or maybe to Montreal or Washington, D.C., as I did when I was a kid. So You want to ride the bike. And as Steve Jobs said, the computer is a bicycle for the mind. And I would say, good call, Steve. And it looks like you studied Marshall McLuhan. That's why Mac is so powerful. But astrology is a bicycle for the mind. You can get a lot of value, a lot of power out of astrology, and learn about yourself and understand things about your life path, and have a sense that there is some rhyme, reason, and symmetry to your growth journey. Now, I have no idea how long this is going to go. I'm going to go straight through. I guess Zoom doesn't tell you how long you've been recording. I'm recording into a Zoom file, by the way, to save having all the apparatus of the planet and have my nice mic, my big magnet. May go on for a while, so pause, think, reflect. We'll put the audio separate so you can, drive in your car and use it as a brainwashing tape. Okay, let's go. So this is your current solar chart. And what I'm going to be studying as we go through this are transits to what are called the angular houses. This is Aquarius. You can see that because it's got Aquarius there. Pluto's there, look, and the number 1 is there. That means it is the first house or first place in this discussion. Or, said another way, it's the reference sign. It doesn't matter why you're reading for Aquarius. Maybe you've got the sun there. Maybe you've got Chiron there. Maybe you've got the moon there. Maybe you're born with Aquarius rising. Most of you are Aquarius sun. Great. That's the reference sign. And we'll work with that. And it's all an experiment. This part of astrology is scientific. This is about actual astronomical objects in their place. We know how many miles away they are. We know how many degrees they move a day or arc minutes they move a day. All of these points, with the exception of 3 in this chart, orbit the sun. The 3 that don't are deep space points. I use them for reference to kind of, you live in Boston and you know that you're on the East Coast. So that's kind of like why I put the galactic center in and the great attractor into the chart. But when it comes to the application of astrology to life, it is a much more fluid kind of a thing. It is much more easygoing. It is not so much about the precision of the events, but a kind of a beautiful symmetry and synchronicity of events that then hints at the fact that there's something larger going on for you, that there's something that your existence is part of something. And now some people don't need this. Some people think they don't need it. But the reality is that we are not these little individual atoms to spattered around. We exist in community with each other. We exist in a greater or lesser degree of harmony with the cosmos. And astrology is about the connection between the two. And by the way, I do not think any of this is caused by the planets, anything that happens in your life. I think that the planets are a kind of a meter, no more than the speedometer in your car is making you go 75 miles an hour. It's not, the engine is, and your foot on the gas pedal is. But the speedometer is telling you how fast you're going. Your GPS is telling you, well, where you are. But people listen to their GPS and they're trying to get to Kingston, and sometimes they wind up in Connecticut. Congratulations, you've arrived. All right, I'm going to be focusing on transits to the angular houses. I was in the middle of that and I interrupted myself somehow. So we got as far as Aquarius, the reference sign. When Aquarius is the reference sign, Taurus is very important. That's 90 degrees away. And Leo is very important. That's 180 degrees away. And